Welcome, dear students. In the lesson on envy and jealousy, I mentioned how these emotions indicate our spiritual beliefs. And just to summarize, if one person is jealous of another person for experiencing something great, this implies that they do not see themselves as connected to this other person. Otherwise, they would not send any hostility towards themselves. And two, it implies that they are separate from God and infinite creation, which is a very disempowering feeling, which leads to an embodiment of a victimhood mentality. If you see others enjoying something you don't have and you see them as part of you, then the natural response is love. It's gratitude and every positive emotion you can imagine. If you can recognize this pattern in how you are looking at the world, you will be able to continuously reaffirm your spiritual connection to all, and particularly to God, to heal this unhealthy emotion and begin to act in a way to help bring these blessings into your life. And it is this understanding that is the foundation for the competing political, economic structures that we see in the world and in our politics. So, the two dominant models that relate to these emotions are capitalism and communism. So, capitalism, for example, if you look at the US dollar as a symbol of this economic system, prominently written on every note is, "In God we trust." And if you study the Communist Manifesto written by Karl Marx, in it he describes religion as the opiate of the masses, which is why this system lends itself to atheistic type thinking. So when you build your economic system based on a trust in God versus a non-trust in God, which once you eliminate the metaphysical aspect, all you're left with is the physical aspect. And then your resource is no longer infinite, but finite. It is based on the economy. So the first three letters in economy is eco, from ecology. So it's based on whatever the resources you have around you. And that is finite. So then you have a finite system and way of thinking versus an infinite way of thinking. And it is because of these fundamental differences that communism, socialism, and just basically any Marxist system predictably fails. Whereas capitalism is the only system that has ever raised humanity out of poverty. And it is not just a matter of economic success, but spiritual success, because the economy is an indicator of the success of the interpersonal trust that people foster between one another. If I don't believe in spirit and God and don't see myself as spiritually connected to other people, why would I trust them? Why would I put my destiny in their hands in the moments when I need to rely on them? I am not going to say that the capitalist system is perfect and that there are not problems inherent within it. And I am not going to say that there are not elements from the communist model that are not wise. But essentially, the spiritual dimension of it is very interesting to look at and to consider in how we approach our desires and how we choose to negotiate them with those around us. And whether or not these systems are fostering emotions that are based in a more of an envy context, as I describe it in my lessons, or more of a jealousy type of context where you see those who have as thieves and those who don't as victims, and creating a villain victim dynamic versus with the capitalist system where everybody is responsible for contributing and striving for bettering themselves and the world. I hope this discussion was enlightening to you in these matters. And if you have any questions upon them, I would be interested to hear them in the comment section and perhaps reply. Thank you, and I look forward to our next lesson. God bless.